Welcome back. You're still watching the Afia Morning Show live from Enugu this Tuesday morning. My name is Nathalie Oku. Oji is here, still here, never left, always here. Even after the show, I guarantee Oji sits here waiting for the next day of broadcast. Sometimes I ask him, are you not tired of the program? He said, I'm okay, I'm just resting. Always addicted to the seat. Sit tight syndrome. How do you do, Oji?
I'm doing good. How do you do?
You're acting like your leaders. They don't want to get up.
Yeah, right? Shot fired.
Shots fired. All right, of course, we have a lot of headlines making the news this morning. We'll take a look at some of them and then we'll introduce our special analyst that'll be joining us this Tuesday. And just a tip, he joins us every fortnight. So I'm sure you can guess who is here with us, now a family member. We begin our review this morning by looking at the Punch newspaper. Panic in ADC as EFCC goes after key members. Federal government generates 5.21 trillion from oil sales in H1. IG extends tinted glass permit enforcement to October 2nd. Government warns 3,598 workers of dismissal orders, fresh verification. Government warns 3,598 workers of dismissal orders, fresh verification. World Bank approves fresh 12.98 trillion naira loans to Nigeria in 2 years. Customs intercepts 10 billion naira worth of arms, expired drugs. Ibom Air passengers remand ignites selective justice uproar. 5-phase trial over 2022 Owo church terror attack. Ogun removes demolition sale as Daniel threatens Abiodun with lawsuits. On Vanguard, armed herders Boko Haram kill soldiers, others in Benue, Borno. Unruly Ibom Air passenger charged to court, remanded in Kirikiri prison. EFCC grills ex-Sokoto governor Tambuwal over 189 billion naira fraud. Trump to meet with Putin Friday, promises to get back territory for Ukraine. Attack on Tinubu, NYSC certificate or not, my life is great. According to the NYSC core member, currently waiting for her certificate. Hunger, poverty beyond mere statistics in Nigeria, according to P2B. Kwam1 value jet saga. Industry divided over suspension of pilots. On Nigerian Tribune, value jet Ibom Air incidents. It's double standard. Justice must be fair, equal, according to Obi. Police arraign female passenger, court remands her in Kirikiri. Prison airline operators ban her from flying for life. Federal government to punish Ibom Air official who released passengers' indecent video. Reform fatigue sets in as 16 trillion naira debt service erodes gains of fuel subsidy removal, analysts say. Cautious optimism as INEC braces up for CVR exercise. And moving on straight to The Guardian. Digital tinted glass permit glitches extortion as police insist on new tinted permit shifts deadline. ADC accuses EFCC of witch hunt as Tambuwal held over alleged 189 billion naira breach. Protests rock Yelawata as gunmen kill 3 in fresh attack. Oyebanji sacks commissioners, others in Ekiti, cabinet reshuffle. NYSC versus Raye, vengeful act, says LP as lawyer threatens lawsuits. And also here, visually impaired protesters block airport road out over closure of Farmcraft Center. Panel chides NCOS over worsening sanitation in reform facilities. Reactions trail sanctions, remand of Unruly Air passenger as federal government decries rising cases. And lastly, here on The Guardian, competent leadership reduced Argentina's poverty rate from 52% to 38.1% in 2 years, according to P2B.
Daily Trust. EFCC detains Tambuwal, invites ex-governor Ike Ezeaputa. World Bank approved $300 million to support IDPs in northern Nigeria. 5 months after FG ban, another tanker explodes in Kaduna. Boko Haram kills 3 soldiers, abducts schoolgirl in Borno. Another Katsina LG enters peace deal with bandits. We killed many bandits in Zamfara, says military. Passenger remanded for assaulting airline staff. UN media groups condemn journalists killing in Gaza. Leadership. Northern states roll out flood control plans amid FG alerts. 8 confirmed dead as flood wreaks havoc on Ebonyi community. ADC kicks as EFCC grills Tambuwal over alleged 189 billion naira fraudulent cash withdrawals. 13 MPOS cases confirmed in Ondo. 5 arraigned for 2022 Owo Catholic Church massacre. FG pays 5.12 billion naira pension arrears to 90,689 retirees. Borno residents flee to Cameroon as Boko Haram kills soldiers, abducts schoolgirls. Visually impaired students protest school closure, disrupt Lagos traffic. Lady who assaulted Ibom Air crew sent to prison. 1.9 million Nigerians chase 30,000 paramilitary jobs. Moving over to the Daily Times. Blind physical challenge group cripple activities at Lagos Airport. Toga applauds NIDCOM's strategic role in promoting Nigeria's 4D agenda. NIPCO to sustain downstream oil sector investment. A week after Value Jets, AON slams no-fly live ban on Ibom Air Passanger. Withholdings rise. NYSC discharge certificates vengeful action, says LP. 3 years later, FG arraigns 5 suspects over 2022 terrorist attack on Ondo Catholic Church. 189 billion naira alleged fraud. EFCC grills former Sokoto Governor Tambuwal. Tinubu congratulates NAFDAC for retaining WHO maturity level 3 status. Moving over to the last one right here, Daily Sun. ADC, EFCC fights over intimidation allegation, claims anti-graft agency acting as APC's hit squad. We are not partisan, says commission. Ibom Air saga Unruly female passenger gets flight ban for live, docked, remanded in prison. Obi accuses airport authorities of double standards. Kwamwan action accounts to terrorism in some nations, says NCAA. Nigerian doctors in diaspora with rights, NAS. Tinubu over rising wave of sudden deaths. DSS arraigns 5 for terrorism over Owo Church massacre. EFCC grills detains Sokoto Governor Tambuwal over alleged money laundering. Flood sweeps away 150 million naira Ikorodu fish farms. Lack of insurance deepens losses as victims cry for help. And lastly, panel probes Bobrisky's preferential treatment in prison.
All right, interesting headlines this morning. And of course, we're joined in the studio now by Barrister Ike Ezeaputa, who is a lawyer, activist, and author. But before we begin, let's go on a quick news break. And of course, when we return, we'll delve into these headlines. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still watching the Afia Morning Show this Tuesday morning. My name is Nathalie once again. And of course, we have special guests joining us. Barrister Chiagozie Nwabuko, who is a chartered mediator, conciliator, and of course, a legal practitioner. And Barrister Ike Ezeaputa. So this is basically a courtroom. Now the lawyers have gone on vacation. The lawyers have converged on the Afia Morning Show set. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to the show. Afia
Learned individuals. No, we're on learned.
Yeah.
You're educated at best.
But you know, there's a difference when they say that the lawyers are learned gentlemen. It's a different. Anyway, let's leave that aside before we stare at another headline. I think we'll start our review this morning from Nigerian Tribune and the bolder story that talks about the value jets and Ibom Air incidents, double standards, justice must be fair, equal. Barrister Ezeaputa, I'm sure you've seen the viral videos, Kwam1 hashtag and hashtag Kwam2. And we're seeing the Labour Party presidential candidates in 2023 elections saying that these are double standards. While we've had the Kwam2 incident, Emanson being already taken to court and remanded in Kirikiri prison, whilst you seeing Kwam1 himself, K1 the ultimate, roaming the streets, still breathing the same air with you and I, and just going about his dailies. What's your reaction to the current aviation, unruly aviation behavior right now among passengers?
My take is that from the historical point of view, because I come from aviation background.
You do come from aviation background?
Yeah, my father was the British Royal Air Force.
Wow.
and Triax Airline, Presato Eze's Triax Airline. I was the lawyer of Presato Eze's Triax Airline for 2 years. And we were flying every week. I was privileged to always be in first class. So I know so much about. Then if you see the situation in JF Kennedy Airport, that is even where I got to know that, the difference is clear, with corruption and stuff like that. Go to JF International Airport. As I was carrying my luggage, I thought that it is as in Nigeria where those who carry their luggage, you give them some, or they will ask for some. Even if they don't ask, you give them because it has become our
tradition.
So when I gave somebody that around my own there, the man looked at me like, as if I was crazy. He showed me where to go and put money. They don't collect it. JF Kennedy International Airport. For somebody who has been flying all over, seeing this kind of thing, I couldn't believe it, that somebody will reject money. So on the issue here, from the corruption aspect of it, it is not only the Labour Party, it's not only Peter Obi that saw about the double standards there. We find that a lot of us who have, connection with the president, the governor, they behave as if they are, gods. I may be wrong. I believe that K1, why he was doing why he was behaving the way he was because he's a friend to our president. Most of us have connections with people like that. You get to the airport, you see the way senators behave, you see where all these people.
So how did they behave, Barr Ezeaputa?
They don't, no rules. No rules. And why this is dangerous, why we can have it at our motor parks. Because recently I traveled to Anambra State for various ceremonies.
Right.
I saw how our motor park people behave. I hope they're not going to turn our airports and into motor park, arboros.
That has been on everyone's mind. Barr Ezeaputa.
So finally, what I want to say, the
double standards, yes.
The way that girl was treated, the one of is already in prison.
Yeah, Kirikiri.
But perhaps because this one has connection with Mr. President, and perhaps because we also find that some people are of the view that because he has apologized, we should forgive him.
Right.
Even the woman in charge of diaspora said that is woman. I don't know the type of leaders we have in this country.
That's a big question, but Barr Nwabuko, I would like him to weigh in on this as well. The most recent occurrence was just, it just went viral yesterday. Sorry, let me come to Barr Nwabuko just for a second, all right? So we saw what happened. We saw how she was basically handled. Some people do not support her behavior, the way she treated the air hostess. And we are told, reports are suggesting that she refused to stop using her phone while the plane was landing, which led to that reaction. And of course, she started to abuse the air hostess and hold her. We saw the air hostess physically blocking the door and she was hitting her from the back. And another video surfaced yesterday showing the unruly passenger recording how she was not allowed to leave the aircraft. Now, pundits believe that the air hostess was probably blocking the door to stop her from leaving to ensure she would be taken in by the authorities, right? So the concern at the helm of this is, first of all, if the passenger was within her rights to, be let out of the aircraft, or if there's something taking over the aviation sector that we don't know about yet. There are also concerns about how she was taken off the aircraft, how she was exposed, so indecently to the whole world, because now it's every media channel is talking about this. What's your take on the most recent incident?
Well, I align with the views of Barr Ezeaputa. She was mishandled. She was not handled. She was mishandled. She was stripped naked. I believe she has a cause of action against the airline. She has a cause of action against the Nigerian government. She has a cause of action against the airport operative. She has a cause of action against the Nigerian police. You know, we have this issue of double standard. It's very obvious. Her act, though I don't condone it, though I don't applaud it, which is very, very wrong, it is little compared to what Kwamwan did. Kwamwan's action was actually, can also be seen as an act of terror. He obstructed an airline. He was even pouring alcohol. He was obviously under an influence. He shouldn't, in fact, he's a flight risk to all the passengers and all the airport operators. And then he was let off the hook. See how this young lady was disgraced. She was stripped naked. She was goaded. She was speedily arraigned, speedily charged, speedily sent to the Gulag to stay there. And the matter was adjourned to 6th of October for trial. Who does that? So it appears as if we are living in a banana republic. She was simply being obviously maltreated because she's a commoner on the streets of Nigeria. They wouldn't have done that to Kwamwan. Kwamwan is actually making videos and then saying he has apologized. Obviously, like my learned senior said, he has friends in the presidency and then they let him go off the hook. It's most unfortunate. They mishandled her. They treated her unjustly. She has a right of action against Ibom Air.
So is this going to indict Kwamwan? Apparently, he apologized, right? But everybody is going back to that incident, calling out, oh, as Peter Obi said, this is double standard. What is meted right now is almost the same thing as meant to meet Kwamwan, taking him to court, or if it's going to be remanded, because they said in some claim, by the way, this is act of terrorism, right?
It is.
He went scot-free, apologized, even saw some commission, or high commission, right, posting his apology, right? So now, is this going to indict him, saying that Comfort is in the Gulag? You know, she was quickly arraigned, and as you stated, to
speedy justice.
Yeah, so
I'll take it aback.
Are we going to
without investigation?
Is this going to take us back to Kwamwan and people start looking in, and you know, maybe someone will get him indicted? Like, oh, you did this, and you actually apparently last week, this happened, but you're going scot-free. But this lady, whatever happened, yes, nobody's actually praising her countenance at the end of the day, but the way she's treated and speedily arraigned and put in a Gulag.
It's actually exposing the rot in the Nigerian system, the rot in the Nigerian government, the rot in the Nigerian judiciary. If you see the charge that was drafted against her, that charge has not, in fact, it's minor compared to what Kwamwan did. So why was Kwamwan not charged under the same laws? Why was he not arraigned? Why was he not? Why was not sent to Kirikiri prison? Why didn't they give an opportunity of getting an attorney to represent her?
All right. Now we've looked at the subjectives around this, the context. I would like us to look at what led us to this point, because sometimes people focus a lot on the reaction as opposed to the action. So we saw physically how this passenger was assaulting an air hostess. We are also told that she refused to stop using her phone when the plane was landing. And Barr Ezeaputa, you and I know that one of the most dangerous flight times is when the plane is landing. Another is when the plane is taking off, because that is when even the slightest interference with airline communication could lead to a tragic ending. But this passenger was ready to risk the lives of all the passengers because she could not stop using her phone. Hence, what later happened. What can we appreciate the matters that led to this action beyond what happened to Kwamwan? Let's look at this passenger as an individual unit in all of this chaos.
My take is that the speed with which the case of the girl was handled.
No, I want us to look at the action, your reaction to the
what she did.
We've already talked about the speed. Can we just talk about how she used her phone when the plane was landing, how she assaulted the air hostess, the Ibom Air air hostess? Can we just look at that for a moment? What's your take on the matters that led to the reaction?
What she said is that there is a place in the phone, we call it flight something.
Airplane mode.
That once you put it, you cannot receive calls and you cannot call. In other words, she is of the view that what they are asking her to do to put off her phone, that she has already done it. That there is a system in the phone. If you put it, you cannot receive call and you cannot call. So you find that there's a confusion there as far as she's concerned. What they are asking her to do, she has already done it. That there is a system in her phone. Once you fix it, you cannot receive calls and you cannot. So, you know, in the midst of this confusion, you see, you find that that is why it's not good to give speedy judgment like this. And Section 42 of our Constitution makes it very clear that the right to freedom from discrimination. The same thing that applied to the guy should apply to her. Why should he be in the prison whereas this person? However, in the case of K1, the attitude of our court is that if you show remorse, as he has shown, if your jail is, for instance, 12 years, the court will now say, okay, go 6 years jail. When you show remorse.
Right.
So that you show remorse does not mean that she has to go free. The law should be followed. But like the attitude of our courts,
right.
Since she has shown remorse.
Who has shown remorse?
K1.
K1, all right.
He apologized in a detailed way. Since he has shown remorse, my own view, which has been the attitude of many courts.
Right.
If it's to go to, some say it's even life jail, that is terrorism. If it's to go, for instance, they say 10 million too.
Right.
You pay 10 million. Then in that case, they should have said 5 million from him. Once you show remorse. In fact, I'm sorry, let me quote the Bible. I was wondering why God said David was a man after his heart. God said it. David is a man after my heart. So after the research, I was wondering how somebody like David, who took somebody's wife, who did all sorts of things, is a man after God's heart. After I discovered that the reason is that if you read Psalm 51, you see that David is always showing remorse for whatever he does.
Right.
Always beg for, you know what I mean?
Sorry, let me just comment, Barrister Nwabuko. Speaking about the actions that led to the reaction, could you just give us your take on it? The flights being landing and then using, now Barrister Ezeaputa has said that the phone was probably on airplane mode. Now we can't confirm that, we're not sure. Because unfortunately there's a lot of footage that is missing before we saw the assault taking place. Let's get your reaction.
Now that is why it's important not to be very fast in taking action against an accused person. Does the Ibom Air attendant know what she's doing on her phone? Do they have any evidence that she was making use of her phone? If I'm using my phone, I'm holding my phone, doesn't mean that I'm using the phone for any activity whatsoever. She may have been looking at her pictures. There are other things she would have done. Take the phone from her. You can see that they even stopped her from leaving the flight. So it was premeditated. I'm even tempted to believe that they have something against her from the outset. Honestly speaking, she's using her phone. We had their camera that captured what she was doing on her phone. What if she was just looking at her pictures? And she said, it's now their word against hers. They're saying she was doing her phone. What was she doing? Was she making calls? Are there evidence to show that she was making calls, sending text messages, or receiving same? So if they go to court, they will fail because they don't have any fact or evidence of what she was doing. That's why they should be in a hurry to take action. Say she was using her phone, seize the phone, and then you see what she was doing with the phone. But they messed the whole thing up. In fact, the evidence they would have presented in court has been messed up.
But the question now is, was there any excuse to be hitting the air hostess in that manner? And we saw her outside saying, an air hostess. So she already had this derogatory, the statement is not exactly clear. She did mention that an air hostess talking, so it's almost like she already has or seemingly has this perception of who an air hostess is, right? So if your phone is seized or if it's not and you're scolded, do you have the right to hit a flight attendant that is responsible?
I would never be a fan of assault in any form or manner. You don't have any right to assault anybody for any manner. Then if I'm taking all the facts together, what led her to hit it? So that's what I'm saying. All the facts
Is
will
there
have to
any
be on ground.
justification for it hitting the flight attendant?
What if she was provoked? What if it was the attendant that hit first? We don't have all these facts. That's what I'm saying. Provocation is a defense. That's what I'm saying. Every Nigerian has the right to defend. It may be an action to defend herself.
Okay,
what if it was the attendant that hit her first and she retaliated and then nobody is punishing the attendant and she was the person in the eye of the storm? Let's look at all this. That's why we don't have all the facts on ground.
If you're viewing this from the angle of apparently she was held against her will there.
Definitely. She was falsely imprisoned.
So because apparently she was holding...
I saw the clip where the attendant was, she was wearing this orange, like pink or orange gown. She stood in the air, she stood at the doorway without allowing her to go. It's forced imprisonment. See, forced imprisonment. They didn't allow her to. She has every right of leaving that aircraft. If they want to arrest her, they have her dossier. They have everything about her. They know where to pick her from. Must they arrest her inside the flight? She was falsely imprisoned.
If you are a comfort lawyer, attorney at this point in time,
I will win this case.
What could be your case?
I will win this case.
Yeah.
I will win this case,
What are you going to do?
and I will slam hundreds of billions of naira on Ibom Air and the federal government and the Nigerian police. I will win this case.
Okay.
She was unjustly treated. She was mishandled. She was stripped naked. Those are the facts in the issue. She was using her phone. Have they been able to establish what she was doing with her phone? That is the fact.
But there's something somebody said yesterday, talking about Com1, by the way. We're talking about the apology already. Now, is there a way to view if an apology is real? Like he's being remorseful, literally. Because there were clips that leaked of his assertions, after those apology or the thereabout, by the way. So is there a way, to verify literally if an apology is real, like it's coming from somewhere deep down, literally this person means this thing, like he's being remorseful?
See, you see, another aspect of his case, see, the attitude of the courts to when somebody's health is an issue. He said that why he was carrying that flask.
Because of his health, yeah.
Because of doctor's instruction. The first time I've heard of that disease, dehydration disease. So these are the things that they should have looked after. Where is it? When you say, like my doctor said, I should not take more than one bottle of beer in a day, there should be a record. Where is the doctor's report? It's not something you say orally. My doctor said this, my doctor. Where is the written record of what the doctor said? So above all, there is discrimination. That's why I'm worried. Senator Oshimole did a similar thing.
Exactly.
And up to today, and when Michael, the expert in charge of all these things, Michael was asked about this thing. He said that the investigation of the one of Oshimole is going on. So in his own case, it is going on for months. But this young girl has already been jailed.
Yeah.
I mean, it is discrimination.
So the question I want to ask now is, we've seen 3 significant cases. Adams Oshomole, we've seen the K1, the Ultimate, and we've seen Comfort's case as well on Ibom Air, Uyo to Lagos. The question I have is, what exactly is going on in Nigeria's aviation sector? Why are passengers acting as if they're at a motor park? What is really going on in this sector?
A lot of things may be wrong, actually. I don't think it's about the sector. I think it's about the psyche of Nigerians. Nigerians are not happy. That's the fact. Nigerians are really pissed off. Yeah. So it's not just about the aviation sector. Go to our parks. People are fighting everywhere in the parks. So they're fighting the driver, they're fighting the keke operator, they're fighting everywhere. There's something wrong with our psyche now because of the economic conditions, the insecurity. So it's not alien to other sectors of Nigeria. People are not happy. People are already pissed off. People are tensed up because of the economy downturn and then the insecurity. So Nigerians are not happy. That's the first. So it's not just limited to the aviation sector. This one went viral because of how it was handled, and then there were a lot of cameras on ground, and then it was up to it now went viral.
So let's talk about the person that released the indecent video. So you are trying to make a case for yourself, perhaps. I mean, the video was there recording the altercation. Yes. And you can tell that the air hostess was not necessarily she was just trying to control herself, not necessarily because she couldn't fight back, but she was using that video to make a case for herself, because now all you can see is an angry passenger, shouting like that's all you can see, an air hostess controlling herself, and the video was on, so the air hostess would have known better than start attacking the passenger too. Now that's her professionalism on one side. On the second side, somebody recorded that video, and somehow the video made it to the public space, becoming a spectacle for Nigerians since yesterday. What would you say, Barrister Ezeaputa, about that video being released under the watch of the airline? How could they have let that get out in such a fashion, not even blurring the video? Don't you think that has ruined this lady for a long time?
No, I don't see that way, because for some time now, the way our young people dress, if you watch our musicians and other women, I don't think they still think about the private part again. So it is wrong, but it should not be a very serious issue. I'm telling you, the way, with us these days, it's not that. To me, it's not a very serious, what we're saying, there is discrimination. There are 3 people that have done this. And I was saying again about our background, that what China did to reduce all these things. When you come in a family, you have too many children, you don't bring them up very well. They must be behaving this way. I give you an example. I practiced with Ganifa Wami. He was detained 22 years when he was 22 times when he was fighting against military rule. But the press, their colleagues, asked him one day, "Why are you very, very agitated?" He said that he comes from a family that his father had 4 wives, polygamous family, children. So they struggle over water, mat, pillow, everything. So some of these people, like K1, are you sure it's not from such a family?
Struggling for everything.
Struggling.
Barrister Nwabuko, your quick take. The video being allowed to get out that way.
It will have been formed part of my reliefs in the case. They have no right. Nobody has right to record you without your permission. How privacy was invaded. It was an invasion of our privacy. Nobody in Nigeria has right to take your picture. Nobody, unless you give the person consent. So whoever snapped the picture, whoever permitted the picture the video to be released, is equally guilty, because the person can be fined hundreds of millions of naira because her privacy was invaded. There's no law against dressing in Nigeria. I'm a practicing Christian, and I believe in decent dressing. However, we don't have any law criminalizing dressing, in quote, indecent dressing in Nigeria. So nobody has the right to take our pictures or our videos and release it on the internet or send the video clips out. It is totally wrong. No Nigerian has a right to snap the pictures or videos of any other person without the person's consent. So it will form part of my claims against.
Okay, now speaking about your claims, let's now look at what happened after she left the aircraft. Now there were other airline operators there whom she was seen physically assaulting. Even after she was calm, when she was given a jacket to cover herself, she continued to shout at the operators. She continued to fight the officials, security officials, and the airline operators. Even inside the bus, she was seen still yelling, pointing, shouting, attacking. So much was going on outside the aircraft. Some are saying that the drama continued. How do you make a case for that, Barrister Nwabuko?
Well, if there's a proof that she assaulted anybody, she has to go in for it.
But there's a proof.
Verbal abuse is not a crime. Verbal abuse is not a crime in Nigeria.
We saw her struggling and hitting other officials. And there was another air hostess too on the plane that was hit first.
With somebody that is not holding her. That's the issue. Did she went out to start hitting people that she sees on the street? Was anybody restraining her movements? These are the things that when the matter goes to court fully, all these things will be on the table. There will be evidence. Like I said earlier on, I will never be a fan of somebody who assaults anybody under any guise. But then when we have all the facts on the table, was her action retaliatory, or was she the person that initiated the attacks? Because I don't think any right-minded person will go out and start hitting people on the street. Was she being restrained? If I were being restrained, I will hit. I will hit back. If I'm being restrained unjustly, I will struggle to get myself out.
So
and maybe the camera will catch me. Maybe the camera will capture me trying to extricate myself, and then I am now the assailant.
Okay, if
These are the
restrains
facts.
you hit back, right?
Well, we should actually view this from the lens of
the way they handle the case of the female pilot. I'm not happy about
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
They rush this, and we have had it's on record now, her background. The daughter of a well-known senator from a good background. And so the speed with which they punish her and the length of it is too much, withdrawing her license and stuff like that.
Without hearing her side of the story.
I've not heard of it.
She has been banned for life. Look at
it's
she was,
Domestically and internationally,
she was
right?
banned for life. Who does that?
Indefinitely.
See, and when it came to the issue of K1, K1 was allowed to go. He went home and started doing videos saying he was apologizing. Who gave comfort that opportunity and that privilege? For me, I'm beginning to think that this was premeditated. Honestly speaking, I beginning to believe that it's a setup. K1 was allowed to go home scot-free. He went there after his unruly behavior. And then he started making videos saying that he was sorry. They would have allowed Comfort to go home and make nice videos, smiling at us, and tell her, oh, forgive her. Was she given the opportunity to show remorse? But she was immediately, with the speed of a light, charged to court. Remanded in Kirikiri as if she was a terrorist. And then the matter was adjourned to 6th of October. You see, when things are adding up, if you handle the matter, you place all the cards on the table, and then you will see the rot in our system. You see that, for me, I think it was premeditated. 6th of October. For what, actually? What did she do? Did she kill anybody? Did she rob anybody? Was she a terrorist? Was she a bandit? Was she a Fulani herdsman? All of a sudden, our justice was activated. We became awake to our responsibility to justice. She was bundled up after being stripped naked, bundled up, and remanded in Kirikiri prison for crying out loud. What did she do? What did she do?
which could
no
have,
investigation.
Yeah.
No investigation. She was speedily arraigned. No fair hearing. Her side of the story was not even heard. Who listened to her? Who heard her?
Which could have made more sense to drive home a lesson. Adams Oshimola's case as a case study.
Still under investigation.
One as a case study, or Comfort, which could have drive home that lesson that if I penalize this person for posterity's sake, that this would stop. People will learn lesson from the event.
What I think, if I understand you, was that Oshimola did this one and went scot-free.
That's what I'm saying.
Anti-date.
Oshimola going scot-free.
Anti-date.
One
investigation is ongoing.
Yeah.
One went home. Investigation is not even, he's not even being investigated. Why did they charge Comfort to court?
Which could have hold more water.
It shows the rot. It shows that the masses in Nigeria are endangered species. That once you have connection to the authority, you go scot-free if you commit a crime. Like I said, I am not a fan of people who commit crimes. But whatever has been meted to Kwamwan and Oshimola should have been meted to Comfort. We shouldn't have double standards in the system.
That's right.
If they have gone home free, let her go home without being harassed and disgraced for only God knows what.
And we have not recovered from what they did to a female senator. Natasha. What? Our women are in trouble. I'm not happy about it.
It happens to be a war against our women.
Discrimination against our women is too much. Look at how free the men are, but the woman has already been,
Yeah, you see, you think there's a gender perspective
There's a gender
issue
issue
to this.
there. There's a gender issue.
So if you were thinking if it was a guy, if it was a man, they won't manhandle him the way they did to Comfort. Even with her countenance and all that.
I mean, it's really sad that this is the trajectory Nigeria is going. Now, they're also making the headlines. Lots of stories also look at what EFCC is doing currently. ADC is seeing it as some kind of witch hunt. We saw Tambuwal being taken in by EFCC. Yes, they're going to investigate a certain sum. So
and they're inviting Ike Ezeaputa.
Exactly. So EFCC appears to be waking up. Meanwhile, I have to ask you, how did the legal system wake up? Can you describe how it woke up from its slumber?
No, it's expected.
No, how did it happen?
You see, it's magical, all right? It's magical because Well, I'm not actually surprised. I expected it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't expect the APC-led administration to rest on their oars when ADC is trying to take government away from them. I expected this. More will happen. More will happen.
But
More will happen.
your thoughts?
Yes, I agree with my learned friend. The issue is that look at even what they did to Passanger's library. Within 48 hours, Passanger said he's supporting people. His library became an issue. So, since ADC came up, you know, our president was always traveling. Since ADC came up, he doesn't travel too much again.
All right, that's it.
And that is why it is good to have opposition.
That's right. Thank you so much for joining the program today. I mean, lots of headlines, but that's all we can take for the time being. Thank you once again.
Thank you, guys.
Barrister Ezeaputa and Barrister Nwabuko. All right, now we've also received reports that there's an emergent situation outside EEDC. Now, we also know that the Main Power Distribution Limited office is in there. So we don't know exactly what the residents are seemingly agitating about. There are speculations that this could be as a result of the blackout in certain sections of the state, but yet to confirm any information. Right now, Afia TV correspondent is on ground to really find out why there seems to be a gathering outside the EEDC office on Okpara Avenue here in the state. The morning show will return with more insights on this emerging story in just seconds. Stay tuned.